Hey dudes and dudettes, welcome back once again to another pointless video on the internet. This time we're going to talk about this file right here. Somebody sent me a private message basically asking me, he's like, hey, what games do you own? What systems do you own? And I'm like, well, that is a very good question, and I shall answer you, but not in this PM because that would take a very long time, and I don't feel like typing all that out. So, this is my answer to you. This is my game list. I've been keeping up with this list off and on for about 4 years now, which is about how old my computer is, this current computer. Uh, and I keep the list because, and here's actually the list. So we're gonna go just put this right there. And I keep this list because I've had so-called friends of mine. I'm a pretty forgetful person. Uh, the way my brain works is I'll set something down, I'll put it up, and I'll forget about it. And it'll be 6 months later, and then I'll go, you know what? I want to do this. I want this. I want to play my Game Boy Advance. So I'll go and whatever box, I have specific places that I put things. Where because when something goes out of my mind, it stays out of my mind for a while. And I have to kind of get into a routine. If you've ever seen that movie Memento, where he does the routines, to stay, functioning, I have to kind of do that with my scatterbrained self. So I'll have a box with, all my stuff in it. Like, so I have a box with my NES and all my NES games, and then I have a box with my Game Boy Color and my all my Game Boy games. I have a box with my Game Boy Advance SP and all my Game Boy Advance games. Then I have a box, and I put all these boxes up. That way, when I go, hey, I want to play this, well, I can go and know where this box is. And, well, I keep this list because I'll forget that I own something. And it's gotten to the point where, like I said, people have taken advantage of me, where I'll come and they'll see me put something in my box, and what he did was I had two people do this to me. One of them, he came in and he got my Game Boy Advance SP, and I didn't notice it was gone until like 6 months later. And he came back and he apologized. And I looked all over for that, and I was so upset that I lost it because I didn't have a DS at the time. He came back about a year later, a year after I realized it was gone, and he apologized to me. He had a drug problem that he was fighting, and I forgave him, and I kicked him in the balls and then forgave him, because that's how we do things in my circle of friends. And then he paid me money. He said, here's $50. This is all I got for it. I know it'll probably buy you a new Game Boy Advance. I said, well, gee, thanks. So I went out and bought a new Game Boy Advance with that. Anyway, after I kicked him in the balls, because I really did kick him in the balls, and he knew it was coming. And recently, I had it happen to me again. Recently, guy took some of my PS2 games. And what this is basically it's a like a master list of what I own and what I don't own, and I can cross-reference my box versus this list, and quickly tell if something's missing. And I write my name on everything. After the first time I got, after he's like, it was really easy. He's like, I took your Game Boy. You need to write your name on your things, man. It's like, because if this ever happens to you again, heaven forbid. It was a different person who did it the second time. I mean, he's like, so I write my name on everything. and I write down the serial numbers. I have the serial numbers of every of like my DS. I have my serial numbers for that. So I suggest you do that if you write your name on your games and you write the serial numbers down of your systems and keep them. Keep your boxes. It's very important. Anyway, that service announcement out of the way. The reason I have this list is I was robbed, and it helps me keep track of things. Blah blah blah. Anyway, I used to have for my NES. I used to have when I was 10 years old, I had a stack of NES games taller than I was. We're talking 50 or 60 games, and I didn't get but like one new game a year. But my mother used to go to garage sales all the time, and pawn shops and things like that, and I would save up my. I've always been that way. My mother has always said, the only time I will ever buy you a brand new video game is on your birthday or Christmas. So I got like maybe one or two new games a year, and my mother didn't always buy me video games. So what I did was I went without in other areas of my life to scrimp money up, and I would go, and I couldn't afford brand new video games, so I would go with my mother to pawn shops and go with my mother to garage sales. Garage sales were the big thing, and I ended up with a stack of NES games taller than me by the time I was 10. Now, I stupidly, when I was in 7th grade, I sold them in a garage sale myself. I made like $200 off of all my games, but these are the only ones I kept. Well, I didn't even keep all of those. I kept Mega Man, Legend of Zelda, Mario Bros. 2 and 3, and Final Fantasy and Dragon Warrior. Well, no, actually I didn't even keep Final Fantasy, just Dragon Warrior. The Final Fantasy and the Mario Brothers Duck Hunt I bought at a pawn shop about a year and a half ago because they were there, and I was like, whoa, NES games at a pawn shop in this day and age? That's like unheard of. So I bought them for the. I also bought. Oh, you know what? I need to add that. I also bought Kirby's Adventure. It's a really good game, and that's not on the list. But I have Kirby's Adventure too. Of course, I bought that a little more recently. I bought that at a store about 20 minutes away in another town. There's a store called Game Exchange. They specialize in games ranging all across the spectrum. You can go there and get Atari games. Anyway, Mega Man 3. This is my original Mega Man 3 cart. My mother bought me this for Christmas one year. And I was so excited to get it. I used to own. I had Mega Man's 3, 4, and I think 6. That's what I want to say. And my best bud at the time when I was younger, he's not with us anymore. What we do is we'd get together and basically, in the Super Nintendo area, he had a Genesis. Well, I had Super Nintendo, so it was like, okay, we'll go to our house. I got the Super Nintendo, you got the Genesis. We got best of both worlds. Yeah. But we both had NESs, and we'd get different games. So I never he had Mega Man's 2 and I think 5. Like I said, I had 4 for sure, and he had either 5 or 6, and I had the other one. But so I didn't have to buy it. I've actually never seen a physical copy of Mega Man 1. Huh. Didn't even realize that until just now. Anyway, Mario Brothers 3. That's my original Mario Brothers 3 cartridge. Hells yeah. It's not mine. It's actually his original Mario Brothers 3 cartridge. I keep a hold of it, in remembrance. And this Legend of Zelda, I remember when I bought it. It was Walmart. I don't remember for some reason. I guess this was like deep into the Super Nintendo era. Okay, and I'm walking through Walmart, waiting for my mother for something. My mother's doing something, and I'm just kind of killing time. And I walked through the electronics section just to scope out the games. And there on a shelf, oops, what did I do? Damn it! There on a shelf, can't undo. Man, that sucks. There on a shelf was brand new boxed copies of The Legend of Zelda. And I don't know if they had some in some warehouse or something. No, it's not a gold cartridge. It's a regular gray cartridge. But, the big thing for me was the damn thing came with a map, which allowed me, finally to beat The Legend of Zelda. I did not beat Legend of Zelda until after I had beaten Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past, okay? I'm not man enough to have done that, but, yeah. I don't really have